21st and 22nd of November at 9 a.m. by clicking on the link below. Both days will be hosted on Zoom, and we will have a main webinar room as well as breakout rooms. Our places are now limited, but please make sure to join us along hundreds of clinicians and students joining us from all over the world. We have an amazing lineup of speakers as well as networking, workshop and breakout sessions for you to join and pick through. You'll also be able to liaise and discuss amongst yourself as well as with our faculty members. So I really look forward to seeing you there. Make sure not to miss out on this incredible opportunity. Bye.
Hello, my name is Karim Safarini, a final year medical student at Aberdeen University, and this is my submission for an oral presentation at the HLA Conference 2020. I would like to present a literature review that I have undertaken as part of my student selected component in medical education. This is titled Preparation for Practice and the Arguments for Standardization in View of the Forthcoming Medical Licensing Exam, or the MLA. Now, the MLA is an exam required by the GMC and in 2024 onwards to be sat by UK medical students graduating in that year, and they need to pass the MLA as part of their medical school degree before they can join the medical register. Now, the aim of this paper is to address whether the introduction of a national licensing exam will improve the preparedness for practice of undergraduates, and this will be explored in this paper. In addition, we will review the need for this exam. In terms of methods, this was a literature search of several databases performed in December 2018, and the studies identified in the areas in which medical graduates were prepared or unprepared for, and explored whether UK medical schools were adequately preparing their graduates for practice. And in terms of results, we found 16 articles that met our final inclusion criteria, and they are included in this review. These were mostly cross-sectional studies and varied in the use of methods, with the vast majority using questionnaires to identify the preparedness of medical students and junior doctors. In conclusion, this review conveys that junior doctors are mostly underprepared in emergency work, and this can be associated to a lack of exposure to emergency situations during their undergraduate training. Moreover, this review suggests that the preparedness of medical graduates may remain unaffected by the implementation of the MLA. Thank you.
Hi, this is Soham, and I'm submitting an application for an oral presentation at HLA's conference. My oral presentation will be about our prospective multi-centre cohort study called CSF Venerea after intranasal surgery with the skull base, otherwise known as cranial. This was done because there's considerable heterogeneity in how skull base repairs are done in the United Kingdom. And obviously, this has significant consequences on patient mortality and morbidity, usually due to CSF venerea, which is, i.e., the CSF leak that comes out or does not come out post skull base surgery, specifically pituitary surgery. We wanted to establish what techniques are used in the United Kingdom and whether these techniques were associated with leaks or were not associated with leaks. This was the first prospective cohort study done in this topic in the world. We found some significant heterogeneity done across the United Kingdom. We found that some techniques might be associated with CSF leak, some techniques might not. And this study is now being taken up by international standards and is being looked at internationally to decide whether a standardization of approaches is needed and what techniques lead to what outcomes. And hopefully this can lead to a future randomized clinical trial being conducted in this area. Thank you for listening to this short intro about this topic. Hi, this is Soham, and I'm submitting an application for an oral presentation at the next HLA conference. This application is about COVID Peds cancer, which is an international multi-centre prospective cohort study looking at the impact of COVID-19 on pediatric cancer services. Childhood cancers are the most common cause of death in children worldwide, and yet it is so often neglected from the global health agenda. This study will look at how COVID-19 has impacted childhood cancer services. This can be due to a variety of reasons. For example, it can be due to a lack of infrastructure being developed. It can be due to a lack of drugs being delivered to the local centres for patients. It can be due to increased time for patients to travel to centres. It can be due to patients not being able to go to centres because of worries of infecting families. There's such a myriad of reasons, and we're exploring this in this international prospective cohort study. Our results are very exciting. We've currently got data from 500 centres across the world, and more data is coming in daily. This is very much an interim picture of what's happening, though childhood cancer services seem to be affected a bit more in lower middle income countries than they are in high income countries. Given the nature of this study, we will be looking at outcomes for these children over the next 12 months. And I'm sure there'll be some very interesting results that come about for children who are missing surgery, or who are missing chemotherapy, or who are missing radiotherapy. And this looks set to be a very exciting study, nationally and internationally. Hi, this is Soham, and I'm submitting an application for an oral presentation at the next HLA conference. The project is called SPICE-19, which is a national multi-centre prospective observational study that has been looking at how COVID-19 has impacted medical students over the months of May to August, both psychologically and socially. Our results show that students have been affected in a myriad of ways. For example, their mood has decreased over time, but now it is increasing again, suggesting that there has been some transient effects of mood, but also perhaps a bit more permanent ones caused by the trauma of COVID-19 on a variety of reasons. A variety of reasons that were explored in the study, and reasons that came out included impact on medical education, the impact on exams, the impact on their social life and their ability to engage with family and friends. However, family and friends did come out as a point that was built upon during the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of our participants felt closer to their family and friends and felt that their relationship had really positively been affected by the whole COVID-19 pandemic. Our students also asked for further support with regards to clarifications around course structures and how examination was progressed, as well as financial guidance over time. Financial guidance was sent, this request for financial guidance was sent to medical schools during the course of the pandemic, and since these were sent, the reports of needing financial assistance have significantly decreased, suggesting that medical schools have been providing financial assistance, or that the improvements in the economy, or the improvements in finances due to volunteering jobs, or working in healthcare via a myriad of other ways have helped finances. The final report will be circulated to medical schools soon to direct them towards how best to help their medical students. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Demetrios, an academic foundation doctor in Oxford and founding member of Mosquiderm. Mosquiderm is a multidisciplinary team of students from chemistry, physics, biology and medicine with a single aim. Every year, over 1 billion people suffer from mosquito-borne illnesses. Mosquitoes have already developed resistance to some chemical repellents, while others come with toxic side effects for humans. Bed nets and other preventative barriers are gold standard, but their use is limited indoors and their physical integrity can deteriorate with use. So, driven by a limited body of research, we identified that mechanical stability of the mosquito is fundamental to the penetration process, and thus we developed the idea of targeting friction. Some hurdles we encountered: we needed something that mosquitoes would not develop short-term resistance towards, something applicable towards all species of mosquito, something low cost and widely distributable, and preferably something more efficacious than existing modalities. Hence, we began by exploring the use of wax crystals from the carnivorous pitcher plant, which is already known to result in the sleepage of insects. But ultimately, the core objective was to obtain evidence that friction is a viable target, and excitingly, this is something we observed. So we extracted crystals in two different methods, in chloroform and diethyl ether, and we found that with diethyl ether, mosquitoes are less likely to succeed in taking a blood meal compared to our collagen control. Albeit very exciting, this idea is far from implementation to everyday practice, as we would need further proof of concept, multiple tests on human skin to ensure compatibility, and ultimately a standardized way to transfer the crystals without risking altering their composition during extraction. Thank you very much for your attention, and we hope you like the presentation of Team Mosquiderm.
Hello everyone, so the name of the project is Mentoring the COVID Cohort, and we have made a webinar as well as a booklet to help people who would be coming into first year of medical school at the University of Nottingham. So obviously COVID has hampered a lot of things in general, like medical science, or be it doctors, if you think about it, but a lot of people actually neglect what happened to medical students because they've already had the debacle of the A-level results, and then they finally go into medical school. And I'm pretty sure every single medical student can vouch for this, is that coming to medical school is one of the most stressful things out there. And we, as Nottingham Medical Leadership Society and Dharma Medical Association Nottingham, have worked together to make a booklet, and 7 or 8 of us have worked together and put in information there, from tips ranging from how to socialize, how to make the best of medical school, and other really crucial tips that we have talked about. So after the booklet was released, we had a webinar where we had a Q&A session, and we tried our best to reduce the worries that these students were having. So the webinar and the booklet, all of them were released a couple weeks before the beginning of medical school. So hopefully that helped a lot of people, and judging from by the feedback, which was overwhelmingly positive, we hope that we could continue to do this in the long run, and hopefully other medical schools could do something similar, because at the end of the day, it is actually helping each other as much as possible, since at the end of the day, we are all going to be colleagues and everyone's going to get a job. So competition is actually pretty useless at this point in time, at least. So yeah, that's about it, basically. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted normal routines of education, training, and participation for students and young professionals. This sudden change highlights the need for novel methods of learning and engagement to be developed for young people in the field. At the same time, the crisis has exposed the fragility of health systems globally, demanding that future health professionals develop a more holistic and interdisciplinary understanding of health.
To quote Professor Lona Kigbush, global health diplomacy is gaining in importance, and its negotiators should be well prepared. One such initiative with this ethos, and which addresses the need for more interactive and engaging learning methods, is student-led Modern World Health Organization simulations. By putting themselves in the shoes of member state, NGO, industry, or media representatives, participants have the opportunity to learn about global health issues, engage in debate, and develop key health policy, diplomacy, and public speaking skills.
Our organisation, the United Kingdom Modern World Health Organization, acts as an empowering and convening platform for students and young professionals to meaningfully contribute perspectives and potential solutions to the current global health discourse, as well as hone their skills in health diplomacy and leadership. Over the past 3 years, we have been monitoring and evaluating the impact of model WHO simulations on increasing participants' competencies in understanding and engaging with the decision-making processes that govern global health policy.
Our project this year aims to convene young people's perspectives on pandemic preparedness, response and recovery. Through our upcoming international conference, Lonhu, this fall, online training events and workshops around the UK, we're giving students and young professionals an opportunity to meaningfully participate in the response to the pandemic by contributing their views, working together on resolutions and advocating for action to be taken. Motherhood simulations are highly adaptable, allowing students to continue learning and remain socially connected despite being physically distanced out of classrooms, and with sufficient resources are feasibly scalable. We strongly advocate for this type of interactive learning to be integrated as part of global public health teachings to adequately empower the current and future health workforce to face the next pandemic.
The simulation brings together some of the brightest and most talented young leaders to tackle some of the most challenging issues we are facing in global health. Young people are the primary drivers of social change, which we desperately need to make sure that we improve health worldwide.
Although there is a large amount of evidence demonstrating the negative impact of climate change, the health-related effects are not being effectively conveyed to the general public. Such effects can be a result of both direct and indirect consequences of climate change, and many of these will not be immediately apparent. Examples include change in weather patterns, increase in vector-borne diseases, malnutrition, damage to the properties, impact on mental health, and increases in environmental toxins leading to genetic and epigenetic modifications. Moreover, mass migration can also increase the burden on healthcare systems. Indeed, malnutrition can also lead to an increased risk of infection and disease. An often overlooked consequence is the impact on the pediatric population. The neural system is highly vulnerable at a young age. The resultant impaired synaptogenesis and neuroproliferation, as well as apoptosis of synapses, can also be passed on to downstream generations. Furthermore, the impact of climate change on mental health cannot be underestimated. Changes in weather patterns, increased disease incidence, insecurity, and disaster-related psychiatric trauma can create a unique concoction for mental health conditions to manifest. Moreover, climate change will affect surgical practice through impaired post-operative recovery in malnourished patients. Weather patterns will also lead to a shortage of medical resources such as saline bags. As such, the potential impact of climate change on health is underestimated, and medical professionals are in a privileged position to be able to convey information to the public, as well as to advocate to the government on their patients' behalf to facilitate impactful changes. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Pauline. I'm a medical student from Imperial College London. The research I have a pleasure to present on behalf of my group was on the use of artificial intelligence to improve patient flow on mental health inpatient units. One of the aims of our research was to devise recommendations for NHS trusts. We've noticed a gap in the literature as AI applications in mental health have been researched, and there were also some studies on improving patient flow with AI, but none in the context of mental health in patients. Our study consisted of literature review and interviews. The interviews of healthcare professionals allowed us to understand the issues with mental health and the general structure of patient flow. One area of problems was clinical management, such as medication trial and error approach, which extends patient length of stay in the hospital and increases the risk of readmission. Other issues included not enough funding and lack of continuity of care between community and hospitals. Interviews with AI experts discuss potential solutions to those problems. We've identified three main broad areas where AI can help. These include clinical decision support, community monitoring, and operational efficiency. The most specific solutions we discussed in our study include AI triage tools, AI-enhanced diagnosis and prognosis, real-time clinical decision support systems, digital phenotyping. The AI tools to improve workflows and operational efficiency included demand prediction, resource allocation, and streamlining admin tasks. Although AI offers many promising use cases, greater collaborative investment and infrastructure are needed to deliver clinically validated flow improvements. Concerns around data use, regulation, and transparency remain. With time, AI could play a crucial role in future healthcare and delivery of high-quality care in response to financial pressures.
I'm Akash Narayan. I'm a core surgical trainee in London, and I'd like to share how over 3 years, starting with my leadership followed consecutively by my peers, we transformed a regional forum serving 1,800 trainees in one of the largest deaneries in the country. First, let's start with some context. After the first ever junior doctor strikes, there was unprecedentedly low morale. Regionally speaking, the forum was being underutilised. We had low attendance and low motivation. But after 3 years, here's where the forum is now. Educationally speaking, there was 2 QI projects being presented every month. So many that we even ran an international virtual conference with over 200 delegates and 143 abstracts. In terms of leadership, we ran an accredited leadership course for our representatives, developed our representatives at annual training days attended by 240 representatives. For training support, we increased attendance of the forum on average from 6 to 40, and a trust representation from 77% to 100%. Implemented region-wide self-development time alongside Health Education England. Success is accredited to using 3 evolutionary principles: improvement, collaboration, and on-the-ground engagement. Encouraging and certifying quality improvement whilst developing trainees is beneficial for trainees, the trust, and ultimately patient care. We closely work with key stakeholders such as Health Education England, the Deanery, Foundation Programme Directors, with our reps even sitting on the Trust Foundation Board, BMA, Appeals, and even the Foundation Doctors Advisory Board. By using improvement to empower our trainees and drive change, we created a more appealing role which increased competition, choosing better reps and ultimately better representation. Thank you for listening to some of our successes. I hope you'll allow us to elaborate further at the conference.
Mind the Bleep is a Wikipedia for new doctors. I'll talk about how it was set up, how it works, and about the future. I'm Akash, a medical registrar. During medical school, I learned to code, to share my exam resource and set up multiple teaching programs to supervise tutors. This year, I completed my postgraduate certificate in education, earning a distinction. Currently, I support a lot of FI1s and they find it quite difficult to transition to work. And so I set up an annual free course, leading over 20 tutors to get new doctors ready for work. Attendees loved the course, but wanted more. Mind the Bleep is an online platform that delivers exactly this. We have over 145 articles, from clinical and emergencies and all specialties, to doing administrative tasks like discharge summaries, but also wellbeing and employment support. Here are some examples. Mind the Bleep works like Wikipedia. Healthcare professionals contribute articles on their specialist areas, which I review involving specialists as needed. And it works. Our view count has exploded and we're rapidly approaching 75,000 views per month. This is because FI1s find it outstanding, reassuring, and necessary. So, what are the next steps? I've recruited a team of over 20 doctors to develop more resources, video content, and peer support, collaborating with other medical education initiatives and expanding our resources on more platforms. Contact me on mindthebleep@gmail.com if you want to get involved.
Hello, my name is Alexander Dawidziuk, and today I would like to present the outcomes of a conference which I co-chaired with Alex Osborne and Angelos Papanikolaou at the Royal Society of Medicine, the RSM. In January 2020, the student section at the RSM invited medical students from all over the United Kingdom to the Student Policy Initiative 2020 Forum to identify the main barriers to preparing future medicine graduates for digital transformation in healthcare and to discuss possible solutions to such obstacles. Students attending the conference established that there is insufficient obligatory undergraduate teaching on digital technologies currently available for use in the clinical practice, such as telemedicine or mobile apps, as the main barrier to preparing for digital transformation. Moreover, they pointed out the limited appreciation of digital technologies that current medical students have, resulting from lack of education on the principles of programming, artificial intelligence, and big data management. A need for the introduction of formal compulsory teaching on these domains was suggested. However, there was also a demand for other extracurricular activities aimed at increasing awareness of digital technologies. Another barrier to preparedness for digital healthcare transformation discussed during the conference was the lack of understanding of the uptake of regulation of digital technology in the NHS. The respective roles of the Department of Health, National Institute for Clinical Excellence, NHS Digital or NHS-X in promotion, evaluation, and approval of digital innovation were unclear to the students. What is more, understanding of the role of doctors in the regulatory and adoption processes was limited. Once all barriers were identified, the delegates debated solutions that could be implemented to overcome the existing obstacles. Medical students appreciated the coming digital technology-driven transformation of healthcare and advocated to take an active role in shaping the clinical environment in which they will practice as the doctors of the future. Hi, my name is Alexander Dawidziuk.
And my name is Carol Chan.
Today, we're going to discuss the objectives of a leadership program for healthcare students and young professionals that make it successful. The Healthcare Leadership Academy, the HLA, was founded in 2016 to provide leadership training for undergraduate medical students, junior doctors, and other early career healthcare professionals.
11 students and young clinicians who completed the 12-month-long HLA leadership course in 2016 to 2017 were interviewed. They were asked about their motivations, expectations, their understanding of leadership, and their experiences of the course.
3 main themes emerged from the analysis: personal development, social development, and project development. In personal development, scholars identified how the program improved their competencies, including communication and management of social media. They described improved self-awareness, resilience, and confidence. But many scholars indicated that additional sessions on the theory of leadership and management of the NHS would be helpful. In social development, scholars said the program provided a valuable network. Small group sessions with like-minded individuals fostered new friendships. Interactive discussions with current healthcare leaders enabled them to reflect on leadership experiences and inspired them to tackle healthcare challenges. Scholars cherished these supportive networks, but wanted a formal mentoring scheme. In project development, scholars practiced leadership by launching campaigns and implementing projects during the program. Scholars appreciated feedback sessions held with other scholars and faculty members.
These interviews not only provided feedback on the course structure and topics, but also suggested possible improvements for future HLA programs. Most importantly, this study highlighted the importance of early exposure to leadership training. Leadership is best learned through enabling individuals to become leaders and developing followership themselves. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Brian Wang, a HLA scholar and founder of Intermedical, a national widening participation initiative for aspiring medics from underprivileged backgrounds. When my family and I first moved to the UK, we lived in council housing and I struggled to learn English. At secondary school, I had big dreams about studying medicine, but I didn't know who to turn to for advice. I'm proud to have recently completed my bachelor's at the University of Cambridge, my PhD in cardiology at Imperial College London, and I'm looking forward to joining the team of junior doctors in our great NHS next year. I'm now determined to create a supportive network for aspiring medics. Intermedical is a national widening participation initiative run by UK medical students. We now have a core committee consisting of 9 medical students, and we have regional heads at 24 medical schools in the UK. I'll now pass on to Intermedical's Vice President, Gabriella, who will talk about the successes of Intermedical so far and what our plans are for the future.
Thank you very much, Brian. Up to date, we've had over 1,500 mentors sign up to the program, and this includes medical students as well as junior doctors from all over the UK. Of those, over 200 have already been assigned to a deserving student from a disadvantaged background. In terms of our expectations, we aim to hold at least 1 mentoring meeting per each half term. In addition, we provide a variety of resources on our website and aim to support students with various aspects of their medical school application, including personal statements, work experience opportunities, and entrance examinations. We already held a successful BMAT webinar, which was attended by over 120 participants and was extremely well received. We hope to hold events like this in the future. In addition, we hope to have further funding so that we can provide students with grants to strengthen their medical school applications. At times like these, when so many challenges and barriers are placed in front of students, we hope to support them with this one-to-one mentoring scheme and aim to support each individual to achieve their dream of studying medicine.
Hello, I'm Karina Dowson. I'm an acute medicine registrar and a less than full-time trainee who is keen to improve less than full-time working. From my own experience, I have seen that there are several barriers to training on a less than full-time basis, and so I completed a study looking at what these were and what we could do to improve things. I had questionnaires from 80 trainees from all over the UK, different grades and different specialties, and there was several recurrent themes. A lot of these were system-based around HR, pay and rotas, but there were several recurrent comments about feeling that their training was not at the same standard as a full-time trainee, feeling that they were often viewed as being less dedicated and that they struggle to form working relationships. On the back of this, in the North East, we've set up the Less Than Full-Time Forum, where we have trainees of all different grades and specialties come together to discuss the issues that they've found and try and find solutions. We have a representative from the Lead Employer Trust to discuss HR issues, and we have a representative from the HENI Quality Team to discuss training issues, but there's still a lot to do. I think this is a really important issue. Less than full-time training varies massively from specialty and grade, with some specialties seen as very difficult to do on a less than full-time basis. This is deterring very good doctors from their otherwise chosen career path. The other issue is burnout. In 2019, pre-COVID, over a fifth of trainees and trainers said that they felt burnt out to a high or very high extent in the GMC survey. Working less than full-time is an option to improve your work-life balance, but why should you have to sacrifice this against the quality of your training? I think there's a lot more we can do. I think that we need to do it. I think that ultimately if we can prove less than full-time working, we will get better doctors and ultimately we'll get better care.
Thought-provoking and inspiring.
Just the wide variety of speakers that we get to meet and the like-minded students that have the same ambitions, ideas and goals.
I've been challenged. It's broadened my perspective.
It's really given me the confidence to put myself forward in the future for leadership roles.
So I applied to the HLA as I realised it was a unique opportunity for me to really develop my leadership skills, but also to continue myself on my leadership journey through mentorship and networking with like-minded individuals.
So I think training in leadership is really important, and it's not just something that should be a box to be ticked.
We care about our patients, but we want to do so efficiently, and if we're good at leadership, we can delegate the work to others and make the life easier.
The HLA has empowered me by teaching me how to use tools to take my own ideas forward, and also to make me realise that although I'm still a medical student, I can make a difference.
It's actually inspired me to really think deeply about who I am, not just as a leader, but as a person.
House of Lords events were both very enjoyable and enlightening and helped me to progress and develop as a person.
My experience of clinicians who have done this stuff, whether they're nurses, speech therapists, senior consultants, junior doctors, is your life is infinitely enriched in value terms by participating in leadership.
The HLA is absolutely crucial. We have a crisis of leadership in the NHS, and there are several young people coming through who have the capability of changing things and making it better.
Well, I never thought that I'd be sitting here on a Saturday morning talking to 100+ extremely talented young people. So there you are. One never knows where one's career is going to take one, and it's a great pleasure.
really deprived area, with all the challenges we have with COVID, third greatest deaths. If we can do it there, you can do it anywhere.
Hi, I'm Kira Irwin, a fourth-year medical student studying at the University of Birmingham. The COVID-19 pandemic has prevented applying medical students from gaining clinical work experience due to concerns around infection control. However, clinical work experience is critical to ensure students gain a realistic insight into medical careers. We aim to evaluate a virtual live stream simulated clinical work experience program targeted at applying medical students aged between 14 and 18 years old across the UK. The one-day programme was developed by a clinical team to reflect real-life practice and was presented as an acutely unwell patient journey, from clerking a simulated patient actress to senior review to further investigations and formulating a management plan. The programme was then evaluated using a pre- and post-session questionnaire. A total of 3,900 applying medical students attended the programme, and we received a 66% questionnaire response rate. Prior to the session, 74% had no clinical work experience and 82% said it was impossible or difficult to gain clinical work experience in the current climate. A further 46% did not know the role of a multidisciplinary team and 41% did not understand the role of a medical student. Following the session, 97% would recommend the programme to an applying medical student, and over 90% said the session was a good alternative to in-person clinical work experience. Furthermore, 98% felt the programme was useful or very useful, and more importantly, 95% felt the programme gave them sufficient time to reflect on the role of doctor. We also observed increased felt confidence in students' understanding of the MDT and the role of medical students. Here we show that a live stream virtual work experience programme is a highly rated and accessible alternative for applying medical students during the pandemic and beyond. We recommend that virtual live work experience is more widely implemented to increase access and to support informed decision-making about pursuing a career in medicine for the doctors and our colleagues of tomorrow.
Hello everyone, my name is Sharon Yip.
And my name is Ajinka Merker.
As UCL Medical School alumni, we were taught anatomy through traditional cadaveric dissection. For many medical students, the first visit to the anatomy lab is an important experience, as many encounter a cadaver for the first time, and the negative physical and psychological reactions to this have been studied extensively, with potential implications to show how students view death later on in their careers. We noticed a gap in the literature on potential solutions to this. We designed a novel introductory course to be integrated into the UCL curriculum for first-year medical students for this. During this one-day course, called First Patient Experience, near-peer student demonstrators would lead small groups of students through a series of workshops, including a reflection on student concerns about dissection, prior experience around death. They would then practice making general observations about the cadaver and create resources for anatomy revision on surface anatomy. Finally, they would receive training on manual handling skills and how to respectfully preserve all elements of the cadaver according to the Human Tissue Act.
A total of 316 first-year students attended the session. The efficacy of the session was assessed through the use of pre-session and post-session questionnaires. The questionnaires gathered data on student demographics, concerns about dissection before and after the session, sources of support utilized by the students, and opinions on professional skills developed during the session. 86% of students considered the course a useful introduction to dissection. 63% felt it explored concerns regarding dissection and death, and 81% of students reported gaining professional skills in teamwork, and 76% in group learning. Based on the results of this study, there is sufficient evidence in favor of a short, peer-led introductory course to help students explore their concerns about cadaveric dissection.
COVID-19 was declared a worldwide pandemic on the 11th of March 2020. Imperial College Healthcare NHS Trust in London has greater than 1,200 junior doctors working for it, who faced a high volume of top-down information at the beginning of the crisis, elevating anxiety amongst this cohort. At the beginning of the pandemic, we as junior doctors at Imperial College NHS Trust developed the Imperial COVID Communications Network, also known as ICON, establishing a very simple, novel two-way communication pathway between juniors and senior management, utilising existing smartphone technologies. We collated concerns from the junior doctor body via Google Forms and conveyed these to senior leadership teams. In turn, we then communicated this back to junior doctors using a top-down approach via WhatsApp and Zoom technologies. There was a rapid joining of the network, with the peak of the WhatsApp community reaching 780 members on the 17th of March 2020, with 197 concerns being raised between the 20th of March and the 14th of June. Now, 94.4% of members agreed that Icon was helpful in receiving updates, with 89% agreeing that Icon improved communication. So alongside this communications project, we were also asked to quickly re-establish the virtual junior doctor teaching programme across multiple hospitals in London via a digital platform. Additionally, we were asked to present the blueprint of our project via a live webinar to New York, Madrid, Rome and London. This communications network remains well engaged throughout the junior doctor body across the Trust, despite the less hectic period between the first and the second COVID-19 waves. We want to share with you the protocol and structure of our communications network, which is hugely valuable and is a sustainable structure within many healthcare systems, which can now be easily replicated. Thank you very much for your time.
As part of the British Islamic Medical Association, we're here to tell you about Lifesavers. Lifesavers is an annual basic life support teaching program which aims to tackle a lack of education with regards to emergency healthcare situations in our communities. Since it started in 2014, the project's been dedicated to empowering communities with the skills essential to save a life. This includes teaching CPR, teaching how to do the recovery position, and how to manage choking. Now this year, due to the current climate and with COVID-19, we adapted this national in-person program to be an interactive, remotely delivered event. We used 3 different methods to do this, which involved showing a video, having live demonstrations, and being able to practice in small groups. We were also able to deliver the event in different languages. And this resulted in 562 individuals and families being taught the 3 core skills from the comfort of their own homes. We had 236 volunteers who were healthcare professionals and also healthcare professional students who were trained beforehand to help supervise the event. And we also had a 64% increase in learners feeling confident enough to perform these 3 skills in public. And so overall, we were able to benefit and educate many members of the UK despite not being able to have an in-person event. And we hope to continue to build on this in the future.
Hi there, my name is Liddy.
And my name is Hazal. We're the co-founders of Journey to Med, an Instagram page and YouTube channel where we create engaging content, provide our audience with an insight into life as a medical student, and also a platform through which we conduct widening participation work.
We have successfully congregated 5,000 subscribers on YouTube and 4,500 followers on Instagram. We have used our platform to conduct multiple widening participation initiatives, such as providing virtual open days with multiple representatives from different medical schools and also hosting a free A-level biology clinic.
We also create content where we provide aspiring medics with advice and guidance on their medical application process. Allowing this content to be freely available means that it is widely accessible to all aspiring medics despite of any socio-economic barriers they may be facing. Our goal is to diversify and encourage members of different demographics to apply to medicine, regardless of their background.
One way we hope to achieve this is by providing free events that support people from underrepresented backgrounds. Taking into consideration that during the pandemic, work experience was scarce, we held 2 rounds of the virtual science fair. This provided around 100 students with the opportunity to present any science-related topic to a panel of medical students. We reached out to medical students from universities across the country to build up our panel of judges.
These events were way more successful than we originally imagined they would be, with high-quality presentations and thought-provoking discussions. Each student was marked out of 20 and was given a certificate and their mark, as well as feedback from each of the judges. We also received an array of positive feedback from participants and judges.
This event had students participating from a variety of year groups, from year 9 to year 13 and even over 18s. From some of the data we collected, we learned that participants felt as though they improved on many essential skills such as communication, organisation, presentation skills and even time management. We are so ecstatic that the event was successful and that we were able to help many students. We hope to be able to discuss the details of this at this event.
Hello. For the past year, I've been working with a group of healthcare students and medical students in promoting quality improvement projects in undergraduate curriculum. So, improving quality of care has been at the core of healthcare delivery and medicine for a long time. And it's becoming more and more important to learn through applying skills through these improvement projects. But what we've found recently is that in undergraduate curriculum, quality improvement or improvement science is not taught very well or not taught at all, and majority of medical students and junior doctors find it very difficult to get involved in these projects, especially in the early years of training. So our initiative aimed to support medical students and healthcare students in getting involved in these projects, and also for them to learn about the basics of quality improvement. So what did we do exactly? So far we've collaborated with junior doctors in hosting workshops focused around developing skills that you might need in leading quality improvement projects, and we've also hosted a number of webinars focused around QI basics and principles behind it, and we're currently hosting webinars on general medical leadership topics. So our plans going forward is to have more students involved in these hands-on quality improvement projects. Ultimately, we want healthcare students and medical students to graduate equipped with these skills to implement change and to continuously improve the quality of care that we deliver to our patients. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I am Vasily and I'm co-chair of the Healthcare Leadership Academy 2020 conference. I'm excited to share with you the oral and poster presentation which have been accepted to our conference. Make sure to join us on both days, Saturday and Sunday, 21st and 22nd of November at 9 AM by clicking on the link below. Both days will be hosted on Zoom and we will have a main webinar room as well as breakout rooms. Our places are now limited, but please make sure to join us along hundreds of clinicians and students joining us from all over the world. We have an amazing lineup of speakers as well as networking and workshop and breakout sessions for you to join and pick through. You'll also be able to liaise and discuss amongst yourself as well as with our faculty members. So I really look forward to seeing you there. Make sure not to miss out this incredible opportunity. Bye.
Hello, my name is Jacob Wilson. I'm a surgical trainee working in the Southwest. My project is titled An Evaluation of General Surgical Service Change due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As for the background, Gloucestershire NHS Foundation Trust is a major trust in the Southwest which currently operates over 2 sites, one in Cheltenham and one in Gloucester. Up until April of this year, both hospitals provided an acute general surgical service. When the pandemic struck, the decision was made to combine the general surgical take under one roof in Gloucester, whilst maintaining Cheltenham as a green site. In order to evaluate this service change, I looked at the time taken from presentation to hospital to the general surgical team making a decision on the management of the patient before and after the service change. I drew my data from 2 sources. The first is the Surgical Assessment Unit pathway, which records every single patient who has been referred there, either from A&E or directly from the GP. The second source of data was a retrospective review of patient notes looking at a sample of patients who admitted over a 24-hour period over the course of 5 random days before and after the service change. As for the results, the Surgical Assessment Unit saw an increase in patients after the service change by 18% from an average of 376 to 444 patients per month. And after the merger, the percentage of patients having a decision made within 2 hours increased by 30% from 44% to 58%. As for the surgical admissions, we saw the number of patients being seen decrease from an average of 13 a day to 8, and the time taken from the patient arriving in hospital to referral and decision being made was only decreased from 3 hours and 33 minutes to 3 hours and 28 minutes. Overall, the data shows the increase in patients seen on SAE and decisions made quicker on SAE than before the service change, but very little change for hospital admissions.
Hi, I'm James Dalton. I'm an anaesthetics trainee down in the southwest of England. When the pandemic hit, all of our postgraduate fixtures and training days were cancelled for good reason. Lockdown, social distancing, the need to focus senior expertise on planning for the impending surge of patients with COVID-19. But as a group of trainees in a regional school of anaesthesia and critical care, we were in sore need of education and training on what we were about to face on the front line. So I set up a series of online lectures delivered in real time and recorded for later viewing on that topic, delivered by experts in the field. The feedback questions for these lectures were slightly different to usual. We asked attendees where they lived, postcode, and we asked them how they usually attended regional teaching days across the region prior to the pandemic. It turns out from one day of online lectures, we prevented 41 delegates driving 600 miles between them. Annualised over the year, as a school of anaesthetics and critical care trainees, this equates to the prevention of 9 tonnes of CO2 being emitted into the atmosphere from the tailpipes of these trainees. The feedback was really positive. People enjoyed the online format and felt that they were still able to ask questions and gain strong educational benefit from our sessions. And as a result, we've migrated our usual calendar of trainee postgrad exam training days online, and this is here to stay. Thanks.
Hello, my name is James Hartley. I'm one of the Medical Education Fellows at Royal Papworth Hospital. I'm going to be presenting to you an innovation in medical education and leadership called the Facilitated Remote MDT. MDTs are often said to be valuable learning experiences for students on clinical placement. However, even pre-COVID, students could complain that they could be non-interactive, difficult to follow, and this is from a paper looking at MDTs, too passive in their structure for students. With social distancing and being unable to put people in the same room, these problems are made worse. People often turn to remote MDTs, where there can be an increased sense of disconnection and difficulty for the students interacting with the doctors. We've been piloting a solution to this, where rather than spine into the MDT individually on their separate machines, we've set aside a separate room where a doctor from the team of the MDT can sign into the MDT on a big screen with students in appropriate social distancing conditions, pause the MDT or mute it at different times, or rejoin and interact, and basically facilitates the students going through the MDT, drawing out the important learning conditions.
We run through all the cases that are on the MDT in real time. So I'll introduce the session, I'll explain what an MDT is and how it works and who's doing the talking and the presenting. And then as we go through case by case, I try to pick up the interesting points relating to that case and make things as interactive as possible. I think I've always been aware that as a junior doctor and perhaps a medical student, that MDTs seem almost a little bit irrelevant. You're discussing cases in isolation. So this seemed an ideal opportunity to make the MDT process very much a less formal environment where the medical students could feel comfortable asking questions.
As you can see, this works well from a consultant point of view. From a student point of view, we've had some excellent feedback, some of which is displayed here. Often students have said it's the most useful MDT they've ever attended. They often say that they've never seen anything like it before and they would like more MDTs in this style. The future, we're hoping to do a more in-depth qualitative assessment of what works in this structure and to roll this out into other MDTs, which you might want to do too. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ali Jawad. I'm Director of HLA Ideas and Associate Director at the Healthcare Leadership Academy. HLA Ideas is an incubator program that supports social enterprises and not-for-profits in healthcare. Not only does it do this, it also fosters leadership in healthcare through entrepreneurship. HLA Ideas builds on the central pillars of the Healthcare Leadership Academy: nurturing leadership, fostering frontline innovation, and empowering and valuing the next generation of clinical leaders. The program empowers healthcare professionals and their ideas to achieve the most significant impact. We're an incubator for social enterprises and not-for-profits with great ideas and great individuals. We're a different type of incubator, one that helps to scale organizations in realizing their full potential and impact. We're now going to showcase some of the initiatives that are a part of HLA Ideas. We hope you get to see the incredible work that they're doing.
The Aspiring Medic Support, or TAMS, is a registered community interest company supported by the Healthcare Leadership Academy Ideas Programme. The organisation was established in 2018 in response to the persistent underrepresentation of socio-economically disadvantaged medical students within UK medical schools. Since establishment, the organisation has gone from strength to strength and has reached over 3,000 young people through various activities. Our mission as an organisation is to support aspiring and current medical students from a socio-economically disadvantaged background with the necessary tools to support their career aspirations and career progression. Through various methods, including mentoring, workshops, and online resources, we aim to equip these students to overcome the various obstacles that are unique to their lived experiences. Our vision is to support every aspiring and current medical student from a socio-economically disadvantaged background within the United Kingdom. We aim to build a future where these students are placed on an equal footing with their counterparts, no longer hindered by factors outside of their control. Want to know more about TAMS? Follow us on our various social media platforms and do not hesitate to get in touch with us if you would like to get involved.
Diversity in medicine is the future. But we know that the medicine journey will look very different for these two individuals. This doctor is more likely to face a number of different challenges that will in turn affect her career progression. But we can do something about this. We care about the journey, right from being an aspiring medic to becoming a medical student and then practicing as a doctor. Here are 8 ways how we promote diversity in medicine. We showcase positive representation and role models to encourage students from diverse backgrounds to study medicine. We also offer a number of application support services where students from African and Caribbean backgrounds can receive free support and guidance. Our equality and diversity workshops are offered to medical students and doctors. We are the largest intergenerational network for current and future Black doctors. Through advocacy, we push for change at a greater level with various organisations. We hold a number of events throughout the year for our networks. Our online platforms and social media continually showcase positive resources which have been viewed across the world. We encourage social support and social action through our volunteering opportunities and mentorship programs. Promoting diversity in medicine, widening aspirations, aiding career progression, making our diverse workforce today's priority. Melanin Medics.
We Are Medics is a thriving online community of over 8,000 young people dedicated to helping tomorrow's doctors today. We provide free open access information and support for young people applying to medicine and dentistry. The COVID-19 pandemic presented unique challenges to medical school applicants. These included the cancellation of work experience placements, changes to the format of admissions tests, and the closure of schools and sixth forms. As a result, many young people found themselves less able to access support from their careers advisors. That's why, in March 2020, we founded We Are Medics. Our content will always be free to use and access. We are committed to widening access to medicine and levelling the playing field for applications. Our Instagram account has grown exponentially since, with over 8,000 followers just 7 months later. We provide high-quality support and information in the form of engaging posts, videos, and live streams. In addition to our active social media presence, we have launched a series of ebooks which have racked up over 32,000 downloads so far. Young people and their parents contact us on a regular basis to express their gratitude for our services and support. We believe We Are Medics represents a new era for widening access initiatives. We are proud to be leading the way in online student-led widening access.
Caribbean Doctors and Dentists Network. We are a network of doctors, dentists, and respective students of Caribbean heritage. The network was founded by Dr. Rochelle Pierre in November 2019. The aims of the network are to provide support and mentoring to Caribbean doctors, dentists, and students throughout training, to increase visual representation of Caribbeans in medicine.
Growing up in London as well, I didn't see any young black doctors, and therefore it took me quite a while to think about becoming a doctor. So I think it's important for us to get to children when they're quite young, so that they have these thoughts in their mind and they can work towards it sort of throughout their life, rather than sort of at the end struggling to get through and to become a doctor.
To become role models for young people, thereby raising aspirations.
I wanted to be a doctor because the doctors said, because they changed my mind and they inspired me. So it's very good that I wanted to be a doctor now, because before I said I wanted to be a boxer.
To advocate and educate regarding health inequalities. To provide input around equality, diversity, and inclusion policies. And to provide health promotion to our community. We achieve this through our outreach program, our community health events, and our professional development programs. Our future plans include arranging work experience for prospective students, organizing an annual conference for our members, forming links with doctors and dentists in the Caribbean, and developing an exchange program with Caribbean islands. Our ultimate aim is to become a charity and to be able to provide scholarships and bursaries for Caribbean students studying medicine or dentistry in the UK. To find out more information or to join us, please contact us at britishcaribbeandoctors@gmail.com or follow us on one of our social media channels.
Well, as you can see, the individuals, the initiatives, and the work that they're doing is exceptional. Now, many healthcare professionals have extraordinary ideas and visions of how our society and the healthcare system could be better. They also care deeply about making as much of an impact as possible. They're hardworking, committed, and ambitious. These are the qualities of some of the most successful leaders of social enterprises. However, many healthcare professionals lack the experiences and skills to take their ideas further than the initial stages. They also run into problems with sustainability, financial modeling, design, networking, and many more issues. Our experiences since the inception of the HLA ideas has demonstrated these issues are true and especially prevalent amongst early stage professionals who are engrossed in studies and training. If you have an initiative that you think would apply to HLA ideas, then please get in touch. To find out more about HLA ideas, please go to the healthcareleadership.academy/ideas.
Hi, I'm Jazz. I'm one of the Foundation Year 2 doctors working in Noties and Hartlepool Foundation Trust. And today I'm going to talk about the future of prescribing an innovative admission pack that we've designed. Having experience working as a Foundation Year 1 doctor and observing my fellow Foundation Year 1 doctors in a surgical decision unit or in District General Hospital, it showed me how busy it can be. Picture this, the SHOs just called you to update the handover list. The surgical registrar has just informed you there's a patient to be clocked in, and you've got 10 patients awaiting admission medication as well as regular medication to be prescribed. What do? This is a typical day of a Foundation Year 1 doctor, and to help with the better quality of care, I've basically liaised with pharmacists, ward matrons, patient safety, the IT team, as well as fellow Foundation Year 1 doctors to design an admission pack. This comprises of VTE prophylaxis, analgesia, antiemetics, antibiotics, laxatives, specialist urological and surgical drugs that are specific to the trust as well. And from this, the difference that this made was basically instead of having to type each medication up per patient on an online system we call Tracker, we created this admission pack that only required tick boxes of pre-prescribed medication with doses as well as routes of multiple possibilities offered on our pack. And the advantage of the tick box is that it basically still requires a doctor to sign off on it before it can be authorized, which makes it safe. And we did a pre and post questionnaire which revealed the benefits included shorter time of prescribing per patient. It was an advocate of patient safety as it was included VTE prophylaxis as well as limited prescribing error given prefixed doses and routes. It also included better patient care as analgesia and antiemetics were given in a timely fashion. And last but not least, it improved the quality of life of junior doctors all around us.
Hello everyone, my name is Manu. I'm an academic F2 with an interest in surgery. I'm currently on my ENT placement in Oxford, and I originally had high hopes for the job in terms of getting experience at hands-on procedures, but obviously that's been hard in the current environment. It's difficult to develop as a future surgeon without these experiences. One of the solutions to this has been to encourage the use of simulation by trainees, but good models cost a lot of money and access is quite limited. So we've been developing low-cost, high-fidelity simulation tools. We've called the project I'm presenting today the Rigid Endoscopic Trainer, or RET for short. Rigid esophagoscopy, placing a metal tube directly into the esophagus, is quite difficult, and it's easy and common to damage the teeth and the oral cavity, and even to perforate the esophagus. It's however quite common and one of those things you're expected to do before becoming a registrar. So we bought an £11.50 force-sensitive resistor, connected its sensing pad to the mouth of a basic mannequin. This allowed us to measure the pressure that the user was inadvertently exerting on the mouth. To validate our tool, we invited consultants, registrars and SHOs to have a go, and we found that the more senior your position, the less pressure you exerted. We next thought of how to give the SHOs good experience. We thought we could teach them how to do it, give them tips, but with COVID and social distancing, it's difficult to get consultants to observe you. We wanted a more sustainable solution, so we thought we'd give trainees no guidance whatsoever, but just live feedback of the pressure they're exerting. After 5 attempts, all the SHOs showed some improvement, some getting to the level of the consultants. We're now currently galvanizing the other trainees to get them to design and implement other such models, not just in Oxford but around the region too. In summary, our innovative RET tool allows low-cost, high-fidelity simulation training.
Hello, my name's Megan Annetts and I'm a final year medical student at Barts in the London. Last year I took a sabbatical from my studies to be president of the Students' Association. Nowhere on my manifesto did I mention leading the students through a global pandemic, but that's the position I found myself in. I was put on a very steep learning curve of both medical education and leadership, and I would like to share this experience with you so that when you find yourself either leading or being a member of a team facing an unfamiliar situation, you can utilise some of the lessons learned and approach the situation with a strategy. In March, I recruited and allocated over 370 students to help the NHS. In particular, the trusts and GP practices that provide us with clinical education. I will be talking about my utilisation of human factors, including crew resource management, debriefing and checklists, and how this helped to maximise the students' impact and help within the NHS. I'll also be talking about some of the barriers and challenges that I faced and how I overcame these, including managing the discrepancies between trusts and the impact that this had on the students, as well as how I managed situations when different stakeholders could not reach an agreed consensus. Finally, I'll be touching upon self-awareness as a leader and how to notice the symptoms of when you have reached your bandwidth. This is something that became essential for me when I found myself in April to be the president of the wider Queen Mary Students' Union as well. I look forward to this presentation and addressing any questions or queries that you might have. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Naila Chauhan, and along with my colleagues Zara Arzuki and Naira Khan, we present our research titled Inclusion of Migrant and Ethnic Minority Groups into Healthcare and the Medical Curriculum. Migrant and ethnic minority communities face several challenges within healthcare systems as patients, physicians, and medical students. For health inequalities to be addressed, changes need to be made within our healthcare systems, starting from how the medical curriculum is taught to prospective clinicians. Informed by our review of the literature, we present 10 ways to challenge the difficulties migrant and ethnic minorities face in the healthcare by incorporating patient, physician, and medical student factors into the medical school curriculum and healthcare. Our recommendations are as follows, which we hope to expand upon if given the opportunity for an oral presentation. Firstly, the development of health inequality workshops with a focus on minority groups, the inclusion of darker skin within the medical curriculum, recognising and mitigating biases, addressing the differential attainment gap, promoting people of colour examination focus, delivering cultural and religious sensitivity training, tackling racial discrimination on the wards, addressing the minority within the minority, migrant and ethnic minority women, establishing a more inclusive dress code policy, and finally, further research into migrant and ethnic minority health outcomes. To conclude, we hope our 10 points will inspire efforts to tackle inequalities and open further dialogue into other actions that can be taken in an attempt to make for a more inclusive healthcare system.
We would like to present our original research that looked at the use of educational seminars to improve health-seeking behaviours in pregnant women in rural Bangladesh. To give some background information, currently 99% of maternal deaths occur in developing countries, with Bangladesh continuing to have one of the highest maternal and neonatal mortality rates in the world. This is where MAR steps in. The Maternal Aid Association is a student-founded charity committed to improving the state of maternal healthcare in Bangladesh, and one way of achieving this has been through the development of maternal health seminars for rural populations. We set up a 4-day mobile maternal health screening camp in rural villages. A total of 400 pregnant women attended, and they received basic healthcare checks and a consultation with a doctor. They also sat in on a maternal health education seminar, which addressed a variety of topics around pregnancy, delivery, tackling key misconceptions, and highlighting red flag symptoms for women to be aware of during their pregnancy.
At the end of the seminar, the participants were asked to fill out a questionnaire. This further explored the individual experiences of pregnancy, the engagement with healthcare facilities, and also the impact of Mars maternal health seminars. In summary, the seminars were found to depict a positive impact on the health-seeking behaviours of the participants both during pregnancy and in postpartum. In particular, improvements were seen with the women's acknowledgement of the need to exercise and also in the importance of health checkups, as well as in the awareness of red flag symptoms during pregnancy, such as those related to preeclampsia. However, there were some limitations with the study, in particular around the sample size and language barriers, which we would like to discuss further. Thank you for listening, and see you soon.
Hello, my name is Rachel.
And I'm Sarah. We are dental trainees in the northeast of England.
In our submission, we wish to share with you our involvement in developing and leading an urgent dental care service and how this has influenced our leadership evolution, along with some of the challenges we faced. COVID-19 has given us a unique training opportunity to develop our leadership and management skills. We have been placed at the forefront of leading services in one of only 2 paediatric urgent dental care hot sites, and for the first 6 weeks of national lockdown, we were the only urgent dental care centre. Patient and staff safety has been at the centre of our evolution. We have collaborated with key partners whilst leading aspects of the urgent care service, remote triaging, urgent treatment, urgent general anaesthetic, and a dedicated COVID-19 swabbing service.
Specifically, we've been involved in key activities creating patient workflows, clinical risk assessments, establishing protocols and integrating national policy. We have also been highly involved in managing resources, customer relationships and communication channels. The biggest challenges were aligning agendas with our key partners and managing our perceived hierarchical disadvantage during negotiations. Finally, this evolution has highlighted to us the importance of being a flexible and compassionate leader to maintain the well-being and sustainability of the workforce. Thank you.
The British Caribbean Doctors and Dentists Network. We are a network of doctors, dentists, and respective students of Caribbean heritage. The network was founded by Dr. Rochelle Pierre in November 2019. The aims of the network are to provide support and mentoring to Caribbean doctors, dentists, and students throughout training, to increase visual representation of Caribbeans in medicine.
Growing up in London as well, I didn't see any young black doctors, and therefore it took me quite a while to think about becoming a doctor. So I think it's important for us to get to children when they're quite young, so that they have these thoughts in their mind and they can work towards it sort of throughout their life, rather than sort of at the end struggling to get through and to become a doctor.
To become role models for young people, thereby raising aspirations.
I want to be a doctor because the doctor said, because they changed my mind and they inspired me. So it's very good that I wanted to be a doctor now. Because before I said I wanted to be a boxer.
To advocate and educate regarding health inequalities. To provide input around equality, diversity, and inclusion policies. And to provide health promotion to our community. We achieve this through our outreach program, our community health events, and our professional development programs. Our future plans include arranging work experience for prospective students, organizing an annual conference for our members, forming links with doctors and dentists in the Caribbean, and developing an exchange program with Caribbean islands. Our ultimate aim is to become a charity and to be able to provide scholarships and bursaries for Caribbean students studying medicine or dentistry in the UK. To find out more information or to join us, please contact us at britishcaribbeandoctors@gmail.com or follow us on one of our social media channels.
Students for Global Health is a national youth advocacy network with over 35 branches across the UK. We fight for global health equity and are also part of the International Federation of Medical Student Associations. As future health professionals, we would like to propose an oral presentation at the Healthcare Leadership Academy conference focused on the need for the health profession to educate and advocate on climate change and health. Climate change represents a grave threat to the human right to health, which is already a challenge for so many communities across the globe. The health impacts of climate change, along with other planetary effects, are an issue of injustice and inequality. Those least responsible for climate change will suffer the most from its consequences. But what can the healthcare community do to prevent a catastrophe for patients and populations? We believe that leadership from the healthcare sector and changes to education are a vital piece to this puzzle. Health puts people at the centre of this crisis and can bring the harsh reality into focus. From the direct impacts of heat waves, to changing disease vector populations, to the potential for war and conflict over scarce resources, there is no part of medicine not impacted by our warming world. We need medical education that equips us to deal with these health impacts. And that's why at Students for Global Health, we're campaigning for universities to put climate change on the medical and health curriculum. And we'd love to talk about this at the conference. But knowing about the issue isn't enough. We need to act. As medical professionals, we need to protect the health of our current and future patients and be part of the fight for climate action. Not only do we need to act to prevent the next health crisis, but through acting on climate, we can address some of the most pressing health issues of our time. From biodiversity loss to inequality to pollution to the built environment, they are all impacted and can be improved by climate action. We would love to speak at your conference on this incredibly important issue, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Healthcare algorithms can be biased, and this can prove to be dangerous in healthcare. Deep learning algorithms suffer from a fundamental problem in that they adopt the unwanted biases from the very data that they're trained on. In healthcare, this can lead to poor diagnoses and poor care recommendations. So what is algorithmic bias? The tendency of artificial intelligence to make decisions that can give an unfair advantage to a certain group or demographic. Most advancements in artificial intelligence are based on machine learning or deep learning. This is where the algorithm is able to make decisions based on previous patterns or behaviour that they have been fed. Let's take the example of breast cancer. In order to develop a deep learning system for this, the artificial intelligence engineers have created a base algorithm that can detect what is cancerous and what is non-cancerous. In using this information, they can make predictions on the mammograms that they hadn't even seen before. But this has other problems. They can often adopt unwanted biases found in the data that they're trained on. So if the data is very limited to a particular group of people, it will be less likely to perform accurately when compared to other demographics. For example, in skin cancer detection algorithms, it is less accurate on darker skin patients when compared to fairer skin patients. And this is mainly because artificial intelligence were mainly trained on the images of light-skinned patients. So the recommendations are that the engineers of the artificial intelligence systems need to take steps to reduce and remove this bias. And the machine learning algorithms can often find data that points that indirectly represent problematic biases.
Hi everyone. Med4All advocates for a more inclusive healthcare system by providing practical advice to healthcare professionals on how to provide better care to patients. We aim to increase understanding about the difficulties faced by various patient groups and educate and empower healthcare professionals to provide more inclusive healthcare. We are already passionate about Med4All because we feel it can help prepare you for those infrequently taught situations where you may otherwise feel a bit anxious.
Every week, we discuss new topics on our Instagram page, and we use the stories to send out polls and surveys and to give a perspective into the students' experience of healthcare. We're also about to release a series of educational videos and resources such as cheat sheets, which are easy to digest and provide insight into infrequently taught topics in medicine. Lastly, we're currently developing a new project which focuses on patient perspective and will allow them to share their healthcare experiences and provide advice to healthcare professionals.
Med4All has produced 4 videos for the Medics.Academy website, and this covers hearing loss, sight loss, learning disabilities, and hard of hearing patients. It's all part of our Providing Better Care series. We also use Twitter and Instagram to distribute information, and we receive regular positive feedback.
We aim to partner with medical schools to enable effective teaching and communication skills by incorporating Med4All videos and learning materials into medical curricula. We further hope to extend our reach and impact across the general medical community by growing our social media presence, developing further resources which can then be used either for general communication training as well as targeted resources for particularly challenging situations.
So don't forget to click follow. Bye!
Hi everyone, I'm Pedro Rabi'i and I'm the HL Live lead. So, what is HL Live? I don't think even I know. HLA Live is a weekly webinar series that hosts conversations with interesting people across healthcare and a wider society. Thank you, Google. But seriously, HLA Live is this amazing. It's not gonna work.
Hello and welcome to HLA Live. This is the 6th episode of HLA Live.
Good evening, everyone. I am really excited to be chairing tonight's meeting.
Hello, I'm Alistair. I'm a final year Newcastle medical student and a scholar of the HLA. I'm very interested in surgery and I will be one of your hosts this evening.
Hi, I'm Rosie Spooner and I'm hosting HLA Live this Wednesday.
And I'm an HLA scholar and I'm also going to be your host this evening.
Hi, my name is Jess and I recently graduated as a doctor.
We'll start while everyone else ponders because that way they can give better answers than me.
My heart is full of joy this evening, really. And I have my granddaughter with me and my daughter. I haven't seen them since February.
Oh gosh.
So I will be telling them about this event. My granddaughter.
Quite quick, we have ideas, let's do this, let's do that. So we said let's launch Straight Direct, and within 3 months we thought we would be on the market, so that was a bit crazy. But actually we did a pre-launch within a few months, just to kind of, with a simple quiz capture, just to kind of gather some data.
It's a big question and I'm a bit worried that you've got like 3 minutes before we're going to start this. Cool. We're clear. Well done, everyone. That was really cool. That was really powerful. There was so many really good points made.
Hi everyone, I am Vasily and I'm co-chair of the Healthcare Leadership Academy 2020 conference. I'm excited to share with you the oral and poster presentation which have been accepted to our conference. Make sure to join us on both days, Saturday and Sunday, 21st and 22nd of November at 9 AM by clicking on the link below. Both days will be hosted on Zoom and we will have a main webinar room as well as breakout rooms. Our places are now limited, but please make sure to join us along hundreds of clinicians and students joining us from all over the world. We have an amazing lineup of speakers as well as networking, workshop and breakout sessions for you to join and pick through. You'll also be able to liaise and discuss amongst yourself as well as with our faculty members. So I really look forward to seeing you there. Make sure not to miss out this incredible opportunity. Bye.
Building bridges. Optimizing preoperative CABG care for patients awaiting transfer to a tertiary cardiothoracic center. My name is Martina Spatsapan, and today I will present a quality improvement project carried out in the cardiology department of Homerton University Hospital. We are a district general hospital in central London, where patients are occasionally admitted while awaiting transfer to the local cardiothoracic centre for coronary artery bypass grafting, or CABG. Due to the relative infrequency of cases, our ward staff reports limited experience looking after patients awaiting CABG, which can in turn lead to suboptimal care. For this reason, we introduced a teaching session on CABG focusing on indications, preoperative investigations and medication management. We also designed a transfer checklist in collaboration with our tertiary centre, covering these information and recording them for individual patients. We used questionnaires to test staff understanding of CABG and use of checklists before and after our intervention at 2 time points. Pre-intervention, 50% of surveyed staff could list preoperative investigations and 58% example indications for CABG. Post-intervention, this increased to 87% and 100% respectively. 0% reported use of any checklist pre-intervention compared to 87% after. We have demonstrated improvement in understanding of CABG and implementation of a checklist. This document will guide care for cardiology patients while awaiting transfer and will serve as a handover document to accompany patients to the cardiothoracic centre.
Hello, I'm a surgical trainee. COVID-19 has had a profound impact on surgical oncology worldwide. I work in urology, and during the first wave of COVID-19, there has been major disruption in diagnostic and therapeutic cancer services. The impact on patient care has been immense, and the decision-making around how to manage urological cancers has been complex. This has required leadership and adaptation, which urological societies across the globe have displayed. Guidelines have been produced during the peak of the pandemic to adapt cancer pathways in order to limit the effect of COVID-19 on cancer patients. However, it is clear that guidelines have varied internationally. Our aim was to compare how the guidance differs between the UK, Europe, and the US. We also aim to assess the potential impact of these differences. We used various urological institutions to represent the different regions. For the UK, the British Association of Urological Surgeons. For Europe, the European Association of Urology. And for the US, the Cleveland Clinic Guidelines. We qualitatively evaluated and compared the main urological cancers. These included upper tract urothelial, prostate, bladder, and kidney cancer. Interestingly, we found that across all cancer types, the UK favoured a more conservative approach compared with Europe. The US, however, used more aggressive strategies than both the UK and Europe. The US was more likely to advocate surgical intervention. In summary, we have found there has been variance in the diagnosis and management of patients with urological malignancy globally. Looking to the future, cohort studies will be needed to compare long-term outcomes of these differing approaches to diagnosis and management. Hello, I'm a surgical trainee, and like many doctors in training, I have seen that COVID-19 has had a major impact on medical education. The pandemic reduced learning opportunities across almost all specialties. Yet amongst the trials of this pandemic, strong leadership in medical education has led to innovation in training that has revolutionised the way medical education is delivered. Our aim was to investigate these novel training methods by finding out what worked well in order to improve training for the future. We conducted a comprehensive literature search and collated the views of current surgical trainees on what training methods were most effective. Encouragingly, our study has identified a variety of new training modalities to counter the challenges of social distancing. We have found positive results noted from virtual lectures, webinars, online courses and simulation training. Our study has shown that virtual training does not only benefit UK trainees, but has also widened access to learning at a global level, as trainees across the world have been able to access high-quality, interactive teaching using web-based platforms. In addition, at our institution, we've been using reflective practice to consolidate lessons learned from being redeployed to other specialties, such as the intensive care unit. Trainees report that this has been beneficial, and reflective practice has enabled them to develop into more rounded surgeons and leaders of the future. In summary, through virtual technology and reflective practice, we have seen a continuation of training during the pandemic, as well as widening of access to medical education globally. We hope that the positive aspects of these training methods can be continued beyond the pandemic. Hello, I'm a surgical trainee and I'd like to present a QI project I led on, which was to optimise the conservative management of acute renal colic. Kidney stones are a common acute presentation, however it is clear that the management of renal colic often does not follow the latest guidelines. The latest national and international guidelines in acute renal colic state that all patients must have stone bloods, which include serum calcium and urate, measured during their admission. The guidance also states that follow-up imaging should not use X-ray intravenous urogram, also known as IVU. X-ray IVU is now considered obsolete as it can lead to excessive radiation exposure to patients, and the preferred imaging modality should include either CT, ultrasound or X-ray KUB. Our aims in this project were twofold. One, to ensure all patients presenting acutely with stone disease had stone bloods measured during admission, and two, to standardise follow-up imaging to reduce use of X-ray IVU. Our study included 119 patients. In cycle 1, we collected data looking at baseline, how patients were assessed and managed presenting with acute renal colic. We then created a stone proforma that incorporated the latest guidance. In cycle 2, we introduced the stone proforma and we measured its impact. We found that after introducing the stone proforma, we were able to improve the rate of stone bloods being tested, going from 13% to 53%. We were also successful in reducing the rate of performing X-ray IVU, going from 25% of patients to 14% of patients. The use of the stone proforma is now mandatory at our hospital, and for the third QI cycle, we will be educating clinicians on how to use the stone proforma effectively, as well as making it more accessible by putting it online. We hope to see further optimised outcomes in the conservative management of acute renal colic.
During these times of COVID, medical education has become limited in the way it can be delivered, making new and innovative ways of delivering medical education ever more needed to keep the learning experience fresh and engaging. So me and a team from the HLA are working with new technologies to deliver unique learning experiences, one of which is by using Amazon's Alexa to test students on pre-learnt Medics.Academy materials. This next clip will demonstrate the user being tested on materials from the 5 Styles of Leadership course.
Alright, let's review the authoritative style of leadership. There are 5 questions. Say, continue, to get started.
Continue.
Question 1. Authoritative leaders work best when an organization needs a new A. Vision, B. Headquarters, Or C. IT system?
Vision.
Yes!
Authoritative leaders achieve most where a new vision is needed or where people need clear direction to support them into new ways of working.
And from there, the user would be given a series of questions and explanations to why answers were correct or incorrect. It will also provide options of being tested on different topics as well. This provides a more casual and easily accessible learning experience that can be done with ease even while doing other tasks like cooking or cleaning. This method of learning will eventually be expanded to cover a range of different learning materials and hence will keep the learning experience interesting in such times.
Of atrial and ventricular activity. There is no relationship between the P wave and QRS complexes, and the cardiac output is maintained only by ventricular escape peaks.
In the first instance, clearance of the nose is done with nasal saline or water drops. The secretions will likely reaccumulate within 10 to 15 minutes.
During these times of COVID, medical education has become dependent on slide presentations more than ever, as the majority of teaching is now done remotely via various video communication platforms. Because of this, the importance of creating effective and engaging presentations has become ever more vital and can simply be achieved by incorporating basic graphic design techniques. In a study published in the Association for the Study of Medical Education, showed that there was a statistically significant improvement in the retention of knowledge in lectures created with design principles than without. So this has led me and a team from the HLA to develop a workshop to deliver to medical educators, teaching them about basic graphic design principles. So far, we have created a set of design principles that we have found to be most important to be aware of. These design principles are derived from Gestalt psychology, typography, and color theory, and highlight the importance of design techniques, as well as common design mistakes to be aware of. In this quick demonstration, you can see slides created without using design principles. And now this is the same presentation with graphic design techniques and principles applied. As you can see, this presentation is far more engaging and hence will improve an audience's retention of knowledge. These design principles will be intuitive to use, hence from this workshop, participants will be easily able to incorporate these principles into a presentation with little practice. This will allow participants to be confident in creating sleek and impactful presentations, which will enhance the delivery of medical education.
Hi, I'm Maxine. I'm a doctor and I'm the director of MedSupply Drive UK. MedSupply Drive UK was a charity that was formed during the COVID-19 pandemic in response to healthcare workers' needs for personal protective equipment. We were founded by a group of NHS doctors back in March who felt passionate about creating a grassroots, community-driven initiative to protect our frontline colleagues. We have since recruited and trained more than 300 volunteers who work across 8 teams, many of whom are medical students, but also many people from diverse backgrounds, careers and ages. In the beginning of the pandemic, we appealed for donations of PPE from individuals, research institutions, and businesses in non-healthcare settings, and our volunteers coordinated the redistribution of these much-needed PPE items to NHS health and social care providers, responding directly to the requests of frontline staff. To date, we have delivered over 290,000 donated items of PPE to more than 500 different health and social care establishments all over the UK. We were distributing PPE directly to frontline workers at a time when there was huge demand and huge deficits in PPE through the normal supply chain.
Hello, I'm Madanna, Advocacy Lead at MedSupply Drive UK. Alongside the distribution of PPE, our team of medics and scientists have been producing evidence-based educational resources such as infographics and videos to raise awareness about the key issues surrounding PPE and COVID-19. We actively use our social media platforms to share information and updates with our followers, who we also engage via our polls. Other key activities include advocating for increased usage of reusable PPE options and collaborating with other organisations on this issue.
So, how can we achieve gender equity in global surgery?
As an advocacy council for the Gender Equity Initiative in Global Surgery, we are working with individuals across the world to empower underrepresented genders through our advocacy network.
Our social media platforms bring together people to voice out the barrier in gender equity and provide support to other individuals who want to be surgeons.
For the past 2 months, we have been able to incorporate our social media strategy to advocate our mission to more people across the world. Since September, our Instagram page has generated over 2,000 impressions per week, mainly from the US and Brazil.
As for Twitter, we have 4,300 impressions every week. And in addition to that, we run several advocacy-specific projects, such as Research Paper of the Month and Jigs Hour, a 1-hour debate every Monday.
As we move into the next year, we want to provide a platform to overcome the struggles underrepresented gender face when trying to become a surgeon.
So follow us
on our social media platforms to help us defeat the barriers in surgery that underrepresented genders face.
Hello, my name is Arjun, one of the urology CT2s in the East Midlands, and I want to talk to you about a teaching program we developed in our urology department. Now, we recognised that within our urology department there was no formal teaching for foundation doctors who are within urology, and we recognised that foundation doctors needed 30 hours of non-core teaching during their time of foundation training. We thought we could contribute and improve the foundation doctors' time during the urology rotation. Now, the teaching sessions will involve 6 sessions delivered mainly by urology registrars, and this was done during lunchtime to maximise the number of urology doctors that can attend. We surveyed foundation doctors and their confidence before and after our teaching sessions, and confidence was measured on a 5-point scale from not confident, or 1, to confident, 5. At baseline, foundation doctors were not very confident, or 2 out of 5, on managing general urology patients, and not very confident, 2 out of 5, or neutral, 3 out of 5, with specific urological conditions. After our course, foundation doctors were fairly confident, or 4.4 out of 5, managing general urological patients, and fairly confident, 4 out of 5, in specific urological conditions. Now, even though this is a small scale change, it highlights the importance of identifying a gap within teaching and training and improving things, and this can be mutually beneficial. So for those that are teaching, they can get certificates for their portfolios. Now, the feedback we had was generally positive, but there was some indication that trainees would like further practical sessions. Currently, another trainee is continuing this program and has actually expanded this to all foundation doctors. Now, if we can replicate similar teaching programs, intra-departmental teaching programs to all trainees in different hospitals, this would work very well.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Wad. I'm currently an F2 doctor in the West 16. Hope everyone is looking after themselves and keeping well. It goes without saying that COVID-19 has had a massive impact on the way the NHS functions as an organisation. As we know, the NHS at times can feel archaic and slow to innovate. However, over the last year, we've seen some great success and examples of how the NHS can innovate and step up to new challenges. I believe those successes, like those before them, are down to the hard-working individuals within the organisation. As an example, earlier this year when COVID-19 was first hitting our shores, hospital management, my trust, like many others, worked tirelessly with little time to produce rotas to help manage the anticipated increase in workload. However, junior doctors in my trust saw a great disparity in the distribution of workload amongst them, namely the on-calls. We took these concerns to hospital management and were invited to come up with a solution. And we did. Using simple methods of pen and paper, we worked to combat these shortfalls. Statistically, in regards to on-calls, the interquartile range, the disparity between the doctors, fell from 11.5 to 3. The success of this collaboration with the hospital has led the hospital to include junior doctors' working groups in the upcoming planning and anticipation of a COVID-19 winter surge. This brings up important questions. Number 1, we've worked to flatten the clinical hierarchy in medicine. Should we and can we flatten the managerial one? Second, what are we doing to help hone and nurture junior doctors' potential and skills outside of the clinical setting so that they can excel in factors outside of medicine? And number 3, will this pandemic help shift a paradigm in the way the NHS runs? Thank you very much.
In 2018, when I newly volunteered to be a junior doctor representative at my local hospital, it became apparent to me that my hospital could benefit from a more efficient junior doctor representative body. 2 years now, I would like to share how we reformed our junior doctor committee into a vital bridge between the hospital management and junior doctor. We as a committee became the reliable advocate for our colleagues, even in difficult times. Our committee was able to swiftly respond to the funding from health education for the fatigue and facility charter, and our committee representative negotiated the local agreement for COVID rota remuneration. The current committee is working proactively with our hospital management in developing future rotas. And all of this started with just 2 junior doctors and a vision. We would like to share our tips, our reflection, and our lessons learned from our journey in establishing a committee that is efficient and influential in hospital decisions. In our presentation, we will include factors that helped our success in recruiting representatives, establishing our presence in local hospital management system, and also how we maximize our resource. We would also like to share a little on how we promote better work-life balance among our representatives, and also how we're currently working in the COVID pandemic.
Hi, my name's Anmal Aurora, and I'm submitting this video on behalf of the Respiratory Protection Engineering Task Force. We're an international collaborative research group set up and led by Eugenia O'Kelly, a PhD student studying healthcare design at Cambridge University's Engineering Design Centre. For the past few months, we've been working on a range of research related to face masks, both fabric face masks for public use and clinical face masks for use by healthcare professionals. And all of our research is available at facemaskresearch.com. And we're starting to get increased public and media attention from this research, including recent newspaper articles and a few other projects lined up. Now, the research started out looking at different fabrics to be used for designing face masks and how you can make face masks with the highest filtration efficiency. We've also been looking at fit of face masks, how important it is for different types of masks, and one of the papers we've just finished is looking at fit hacks, or how you can easily improve the fit of your mask and therefore increase the amount of protection the mask offers you. And we think that that'll be one of the most popular papers we're putting out. Now, the reason we want to present at this conference is because of the range of attendees present. Our research has implications for patients in terms of the kind of masks they choose and the decisions they make. It also has implications for healthcare professionals in terms of how they protect themselves and the advice they give to patients. And it's also got implications for people outside of patient care, those looking to design healthcare systems or improve existing ones. So thank you for your time, and please don't hesitate to get in touch if you've got any questions. Thanks.
Hi. Earlier this year, we faced the biggest healthcare crisis in our lifetimes and also the greatest challenge on the NHS. Unfortunately, PPE supplies were not sufficient, leaving the NHS staff working on the front line without the essential armour needed to protect themselves in the fight against COVID-19. Whilst the government was doing all it could, this was an unprecedented situation for countries across the whole world. This created problems in the whole supply chain, from procurement of PPE abroad, but also particularly the distribution within the UK. The infrastructure was not in place for such a situation. So we took the decision to raise money ourselves to buy and distribute PPE where it was needed the most. In a matter of weeks, we raised nearly £3 million, and at the height of the pandemic in April, we delivered hundreds of thousands of full face shields and thousands of gowns to hospitals and primary care settings across the UK. We also supported other charities such as Masks for Scotland in donating PPE. As the crisis then gripped care homes across the country, we supplied over 1 million surgical masks when they were in desperately short supply. Currently, we are providing PPE donations for learning disability charities who do not have access to the PPE portal available to care homes in England. Their PPE expenditure has more than quadrupled, and they already have big holes in their budgets due to the impact of COVID-19. We did all of this in addition to our full-time jobs working on the front line during the pandemic. We quickly learned how to navigate the world of freight forwarding, get to grips with international sales contracts,
financial auditing, tax ramifications with the HMRC, fundraising and getting charity status, and finally, the world of social media.
Hello, my name's Arjun. I'm a CT2 in urology in the East Midlands, and I want to talk to you about a project that we've done which demonstrates how junior doctors are great agents of change and can be leaders too. Now, at our District General Hospital, we had inpatient lists saved on a single computer on each ward. Now, this obviously caused some difficulties in using these lists. We wanted to try and improve this, so we thought about potentially having a shared drive, thought about sending emails with the list. And after discussing with the IT team, we decided to go with Microsoft Teams because it was free. Now, we collected data by sending out surveys to the clinicians who actually used and updated lists, and we found that at baseline it took 3.26 hours to update and maintain 5 inpatient surgical lists, and on a scale of 1 very difficult to 5 very easy, that was neutral to access the list. Now, we used the QI methodology and used PDSA cycles, so of which we did 3. Our first cycle we introduced Microsoft Teams for the surgical assessment unit. Our second cycle we introduced Microsoft Teams for the surgical wards, and finally we wanted to expand the use of lists on Microsoft Teams to other specialities. Now, after the first 2 cycles, we noticed a significant change. So we saw an improvement in our accessibility to easy and a 25% reduction on time spent on maintaining lists. Now, 25%, that's 220 clinical hours a year, which is very significant, which can be used for better patient-facing care and training. Now, our third cycle, which we are currently doing, is trying to expand to different specialities. Currently, ENT are using inpatient lists on Microsoft Teams. We're also discussing with medicine and pediatrics to see if they can incorporate it within their specialities. Thank you very much for listening to me.
My name's Lily. I'm one of the orthopaedic registrars, and my presentation is on supporting junior doctors during the COVID-19 pandemic. Our trust saw one of the highest rates of COVID-19 in the start of the pandemic in the UK. During the pandemic, doctors in orthopaedics had to adapt the way that we worked, and it was an extremely stressful time as we were dealing with very unwell patients with very limited medical oversight. As a registrar, it was my role to support the SHOs during these extremely difficult times. We came up with some solutions to guide them, one of which was coming up with a buddy system where each registrar was on call with the same SHO on every shift, which meant you could build a report together and the SHO and the registrar can support each other. Also meant that there were fewer doctors available transmitting virus from one to other at any given time. Whenever I was on call with an SHO, I always made sure that we reviewed the patients together. This meant each patient got a senior review, but also we came up with management plans together, which meant I had the opportunity to teach the SHO as well, and we worked more efficiently this way. We have a few SHOs from abroad, and this was their first job in the UK, and it was a difficult time for them to start working in the NHS, but I was a port of call for them, and if they needed any support, I was available to talk about clinical issues as well as clerical or administrative issues. Finally, we came up with some debriefing sessions where I could sit down with SHOs and talk about difficult patients or reflect on difficult scenarios we faced during the pandemic, and this helped all of us learn from each other, but also emotionally and socially support each other. Thank you for listening.
The Aspiring Medic Support, or TAMS, is a registered community interest company supported by the Healthcare Leadership Academy Ideas Programme. The organisation was established in 2018 in response to the persistent underrepresentation of socio-economically disadvantaged medical students within UK medical schools. Since establishment, the organisation has gone from strength to strength and has reached over 3,000 young people through various activities. Our mission as an organisation is to support aspiring and current medical students from a socio-economically disadvantaged background with the necessary tools to support their career aspirations and career progression. Through various methods, including mentoring, workshops, and online resources, we aim to equip these students to overcome the various obstacles that are unique to their lived experiences. Our vision is to support every aspiring and current medical student from a socio-economically disadvantaged background within the United Kingdom. We aim to build a future where these students are placed on an equal footing with their counterparts, no longer hindered by factors outside of their control. Want to know more about TAMS? Follow us on our various social media platforms and do not hesitate to get in touch with us if you would like to get involved.
Hi, my name is Yamin Jabr and I'm a clinical teaching fellow working at Ipswich Hospital. Prior to my role, I was working at North Tees and Hartlepool NHS Trust, where I was involved in an orthopaedic quality improvement project which aims to assess the compliance of our hand trauma services in comparison to national guidelines. 1 in 5 patients attending A&E have hand injuries, with more than 1.4 million attendances for hand injuries in the UK annually, predominantly affecting young working populations and are a major source of disability, causing significant costs to both the individual and the community at large. The British Society for Surgery of the Hand set out to address this by recommending guidance that aim to ensure appropriate and timely care of hand trauma, recommend organizational improvements and provision of hand surgery, and explore expanding the role of hand therapists. For comparison with nationally recommended numbers set out by the Society, the Trust serves a population of 365,000 people with 3 operating sessions weekly, 4 hand surgeons, and 7 hand therapists. This is an overall increase of these already existing services since the initial implementation of the project. With innovation as a keystone in our project, we set out to follow up on these changes by performing a 2-month retrospective review based on local recommendations to set up a hand referral pathway. This review also looks at incidents of hand trauma, patients needing surgical intervention, time taken to theatre, and injuries such as mallet fingers and 5th metacarpal fractures. We reviewed existing electronic admissions, A&E referrals, clinic notes, and operative lists, and used them to compare the operational capacity of our theatres, clinics, and protocols against previous iterations. Our data suggested appropriate and timely care of hand trauma, supported by its designated pathway, with 14% of patients from clinics listed for surgery and 75% of patients requiring surgical intervention operated on within 3 days of review. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kiran Patel and I'm a Junior Clinical Fellow in ENT. See one, do one, teach one. That's how we've always been taught how to learn as surgeons. But have we really understood how each individual learns and what's useful for them? In October 2019, we ran a bootcamp for new ENT registrars. 34 people took part, and we used simulation models to see what was useful for them. We found that simulation was incredibly useful for teaching people new tasks, but also really great for mitigating anxieties. What we also found was that their learning style differed greatly from the see one, do one, teach one styles, and there was a broad spectrum of styles available. Now, what does this mean? So for ENT, there is an 8-year pilot run-through program. Now, could we figure out a trainee's learning style at the start of this program and adapt the curriculum? And could we actually do this for other specialties as well? To find out more about our work, you can contact us with the team under Professor Tolley at St Mary's Hospital. Thank you.